Albertans air concerns with the Premier.
I'm just about done with the divisive politics.
At a busy town hall meeting in Okotoks. The province moves ahead with plans for a police service.
The federal government makes a decision to move away from contract policing. We don't want there to be a gap. And so we're ensuring that there isn't going to be a gap.
2 years after most municipalities voted against the idea. And Stampede safety boosted by G7 equipment.
We'll be putting those to use at Stampede. We'll be flying the drones overhead to help us monitor, just like with the helicopter.
The measures in place to protect people on the grounds and parade route.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Alicia Fieldberg.
Good evening. The Premier and Agriculture Minister hosted a town hall meeting in Okotoks this evening, and it wasn't without drama. Many Albertans attended to voice their disapproval over certain policies. Jacqueline Wilson reports. Outside the Viking Rental Centre in Okotoks, over 100 people lined up, ready to hear from Premier Danielle Smith and Minister of Agriculture and Irrigation, RJ Sigurdson.
I just want to make sure that the Premier knows that I'm just about done with the divisive politics and to get her back to basics of running the province.
Transgender rights. Because I am, and I went through high school, and I had a lot of really good teachers and a lot of really good support, but I also had a lot of really nasty pushback in a lot of different places, and I don't think kids deserve to go through that when they're already going through the worst time ever.
About 30 people lined up to ask questions, which range from wild horse population management and sovereignty to policing and healthcare. Many who attended were also focused on the coal mine policies and environmental impacts.
They're just not listening to us. The UCP is not listening to us. We've been campaigning against the Grassy Mountain coal mine.
I want to hear from the Agriculture Minister his concerns around the water quality in Alberta.
After the event, the Premier spoke to CTV, defending her government's decision.
I think people need to understand that with the new coal policy, these were committee recommendations that came to us to make sure that we didn't have any mountaintop removal to facilitate mining. We don't want to have open pit mines, and we want to make sure we're using the best technology to manage water.
Smith saying the projects will help Canada's goals of energy independence from the United States.
But we have to figure out how to develop resources in an environmentally sustainable way. If we want to get ourselves weaned off the Americans as our sole customer, we have to become a lot more independent. We've got to have a lot more opportunities to develop new markets, and that's what some of these products are going to allow us to do.
This town hall was independent of the recently announced Alberta Next panel. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Okotoks. The province is moving forward with its own police force. The Alberta Sheriff's Police Service will have its head office in Calgary. It will not be replacing the RCMP, but working in tandem, according to the Premier. While some communities are on board, others are not. Tyson Fedor reports.
Alberta's new provincial police force is one step closer to reality. The chief of police has been appointed with 25 years of experience with Calgary Police, and now he is in recruitment mode.
What I don't want to do is I don't want to start competing with cities of Calgary. Like, I want people to make these choices because they want to try something new or they want to do something different. I don't want to steal from one to get to another one.
The Alberta Sheriff's Police Service is not meant to replace the RCMP, but it will be run separately and have civilian oversight.
It will work alongside existing branches of law enforcement to fill gaps and ensure that resources are used efficiently.
However, municipalities will have the option to contract the new service for its local policing needs instead of RCMP. The province says there are around 2,000 sheriffs, with 650 of them fully trained for this new service.
We can start now. We're not waiting. We want to make sure that everybody feels that they've got the policing that they need close to home.
The provincial government says it wants to be prepared if the RCMP does pull away from contract policing.
And the expiration of the police service agreements in 2032 prevents the first opportunity to implement the phase of policing in Canada.
Coaldale has been uniquely and unfairly positioned as the only municipality in all of Canada under 15,000 residents required to pay the full cost of RCMP policing.
But the transition to some critics is one not agreed upon by many within rural Alberta.
And beware of someone saying they can get you better service for less money. This is a snake oil salesman way of dealing with a real issue. I think they're excited by it. I think they have a fetish to create their own force, so they have more control, and it's frightening for me as a rural Albertan.
Alberta's NDP calls the new force a zombie idea one Albertans did not vote for.
This is something nobody wants, nobody asked for, and is going to cost us billions of dollars just so Danielle Smith can say she did something.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
The province says a total of $20 million has been commended in this year's budget. In 2021, the province released an independent report stating that a provincial police service could cost as much as $758 million. The Progressive Conservatives governed in Alberta for decades, but years after they merged with the Wild Rose to create the United Conservatives, 2 MLAs are trying to bring the PC party back. Both of those MLAs used to be with the UCP and are now independents. Former Infrastructure Minister Peter Guthrie and Scott Sinclair were removed from caucus earlier this year for pushing back against Premier Danielle Smith's government. They're concerned about the healthcare investigation, separation talks, and they want restrained spending. The pair needs to collect 8,800 signatures to register as an Alberta political party.
Is always difficult to create a party in the middle, but maybe the issue of separatism might give them some movement. Both Guthrie and Sinclair talked about that.
Alberta's premier says under election law, no party can use the PC name because it's part of the legacy of the UCP. The name Progressive Conservative Association of Alberta is currently reserved with Elections Alberta, but is not registered. The chief electoral officer hasn't determined whether legislation will allow the party name. By 2030, Calgary will have a very different looking skyline. The new JW Marriott Hotel and the new W Hotel will be built side by side at McLeod Trail and 15th Avenue Southeast. That's near Stampede Park. At 62 stories and 69 stories, they will dominate the local skyline and will offer hundreds of hotel rooms and residences. They will overtake the 57-story Bow Building to become Calgary's tallest skyscrapers. There will also be restaurants, spas, meeting spaces, and more. They are separate to the hotel already announced at McLeod and 17th Avenue Southeast, which will be known as Autograph by Truman.
We've always had the people, we've always had the hospitality. Having the places to allow larger and more frequent gatherings is a game changer for us, especially on our path to be Canada's leading convention destination.
The hotels are expected to open in 2028, 2029, and 2030. More empty offices are emerging in Calgary, according to a new report. The latest figures from the CBRE find Calgary some of the highest vacancy rate increases in the country in the second quarter of last year. Calgary's downtown vacancy rate is at 30%, the second worst in the country, and it's nearly 20% in suburban areas. However, Calgary also leads all major Canadian cities in office conversions, including 10 residential conversion projects by the city. Business owners on Calgary's historic Stephen Avenue say they're worried construction could put them out of business, with major redevelopment work set to begin later this month. They say the timing couldn't be worse. Mark Villani has more.
Stephen Avenue is busy and vibrant on this first week of July, but some worry it won't be that way for long.
The damage to the businesses will be irreparable, and what's going to happen over time is Stephen Ave will become a ghost town.
A massive redevelopment project spanning several blocks from City Hall to Mawata Armory is in the works. The first portion of construction will take 15 months to complete, upgrading utilities and surfaces from 1st Street to Centre Street Southeast. That begins on July 14th, just one day after the Calgary Stampede wraps up.
For the city to think that as of July 14th, our revenue stream is done down here, it's just the opposite. This is our peak tourist season.
It hurts my heart, it hurts my business, it hurts our staff.
Leslie Aquino is the owner of Annabelle's Kitchen. Her other location in Marda Loop already lost 30% of its profits and nearly closed following what she calls a mismanaged 2-year project. The project on Stephen Avenue includes similar utility work, tree replacement, and new granite walkways, but many say the design will do more harm than good, with foot traffic squeezed into small corridors during construction.
How do we get customers coming down when they're worried about walking down the street, when people are coming up to them and are physically assaulting them? We've all heard the stories on Stephen Avenue.
Stephen Avenue's area councillor Terry Wong says he's asked administration to look at solutions.
Is there a way to
delay, alter the schedule, and take a different construction approach. Any way that we can do this so that we do not harm the businesses.
Others say the work is necessary, but it can't start right away.
I'm advocating for a pause on this project for our summer months. This is the time for our city to shine. Look at it. It's vibrant. There's people everywhere.
But without people, some say businesses will close and there won't be any business tax base available in the future.
Because all these spaces will be vacant and it will be shifted onto residential. So as much as this feels like a commercial or business issue, this is really a Calgarian issue.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
The grand opening of the new Eau Claire Plaza took place today. Now, these Calgarians are among the first to walk through the redesigned plaza. It has room for events year-round, picnic spaces, and a sandy beach. Now, this marks the end of a 4-year-long improvement project. People visiting the new space were impressed, especially with the water misters, popular during today's heat.
To draw. I think it's going to be able to play host to all kinds of things, and it's also going to be just such a super casual just hangout place, which is amazing.
I remember when we used to go shopping here in the plaza, and it felt a little bit run down, and so this is quite the nice refresh. What we really love is that you can go through this mist here and cool down every time we go to the park now.
Work was also done to prevent flooding in the area. Mexifest kicks off in the plaza on Friday. Well, it's really been hot the last 2 days, Danielle, but is it going to be spray park weather tomorrow?
Yes, but not the heat we've had. So for today, we got into the 30s. For tomorrow, we're looking at a high of 24 degrees. So I'll say more reasonable heat, but still fairly hot. A good amount of sunshine up until 2 in the afternoon. And by 2 in the afternoon, we get into the chance of showers and thunderstorms. More details on your full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Danielle. There's a new western lowland gorilla at the Calgary Zoo. Johari arrived last week from the Toronto Zoo. The 24-year-old female could be a breeding partner for the silverback at the Calgary Zoo's troop. The hope is that this could help conservation efforts for the western lowland gorillas, a species classified as critically endangered in the wild. Johari will need time to adjust to her new home, so it will be a while before you can see her at the zoo. Well, this time tomorrow night, people will be at Stampede Sneak-a-Peek, but first responders have been preparing for a while and have added some safety measures this year.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Calgary Stampede starts with Sneak-a-Peek tomorrow afternoon. First responders say they have planned for the crowds, crime, and weather, which can all be unpredictable. As Stephanie Thomas reports, the recent G7 summit has helped organizers feel prepared.
The stage is being set at the Calgary Stampede for safety planning. An estimated 1.3 million people are expected over the course of the 10 days. Returning this year, metal detectors and bag searches.
If you wouldn't bring something onto an airplane, please don't bring it to Stampede Park.
New this year and up in the sky, Calgary police will be flying a few of these drones.
We have obtained through G7, we've got some more toys, and we'll be putting those to use at Stampede. We'll be flying the drones overhead to help us monitor, just like with the helicopter.
Last month, Kananaskis hosted world leaders for the G7 summit. No major incidents were reported. Calgary police have now shifted gears to the city's biggest annual event.
During Stampede, we actually turned the Stampede grounds into a 9th district, including an incident commander, our own dispatcher, our own ops center, and staff it with members from across the service.
Stampede officials say for the past 6 years, entrances to the grounds are designed to mitigate unauthorized vehicles. However, this year, anti-ramming barricades have been installed. Extreme weather is another safety concern for Stampede.
We have a number of weather monitoring systems, including lightning detection, wind detection, air quality monitoring. We have an on-site meteorologist.
Crowds can make the July weather feel even hotter. Stampede goers are reminded to keep hydrated and cool down indoors if need be. Also, keep smart devices charged, either to call for help or to get up-to-date emergency alerts. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
11 guns are still missing after a robbery at the Calgary Shooting Centre over the weekend. Police say a man broke into the building Saturday morning, smashed a display case and got away with more than $26,000 worth of weapons. He took off in a stolen truck, which was later recovered. Officers executed 2 search warrants and recovered only 6 of the 17 guns. 45-year-old Jason Wilkening is facing more than 24 charges. A Northeast casino was evacuated yesterday afternoon after reports of high carbon monoxide levels. Fire crews found dangerous CO levels at Pure Casino near 16th Avenue. 2 people were taken to hospital, and staff was able to return about an hour later. The number of confirmed measles cases in Alberta continues to grow, but the rate appears to be changing. There are 9 new measles cases confirmed since Monday. It's not clear if the spread is slowing down or fewer people are seeking medical attention. Health experts encourage everyone to ensure they are fully vaccinated against the highly contagious and preventable disease. It takes 2 doses of the MMR vaccine for protection to be the most effective. The Westwinds Music Society is made up of people from all walks of life who don't want to give up playing an instrument or singing. And now 70 of them are getting ready for a European tour. Kevin Fleming has more.
He plays the clarinet and sings in the choir with the Westwinds Music Society. Sean Emery is an electrician and has been a member of the society for 10 years. He's rehearsing for its European tour.
Kevin Wilms, who is leading this trip, was my high school band director. And so at the last year of high school, we finished our last concert, and I was like, I'm really sad. Band's done, and I don't know what to do now. And Kevin's like, well, let me tell you about Westwinds.
While Emery enjoys performing, he says this is a hobby for him, not something he's pursuing for a career.
I respect professional musicians greatly. I don't practice that much. That's not what I do. I do this for fun.
Emery is one of 70 performers heading to Germany and Austria for 2 weeks. Kevin Wilms is excited to reconnect at their first stop with a German group he and the society hosted in Calgary in 2002.
So we're going to perform in Bottendorf at their church that they're based in. We're going to perform in Eisenach, which is the birthplace of Johann Sebastian Bach. We're going to actually perform in the church where he was baptized.
They're also making stops in Munich, Salzburg, and Vienna. The members on the trip are made up of musicians and singers. Anne Gray is the choir director.
This year I've chosen all Canadian music, and so we're taking a big map of Canada, and we have a few little costumes such as scarves for our 4 strong winds from Alberta.
Gray says it's been a lot of work getting ready for the tour, but it's worth it.
We start rehearsing in January, and we go all the way through until we leave and put it together, try to make something that's fun but meaningful, and something that we can feel really good about.
Members leave in less than 2 weeks, and Emery says he's excited and maybe a little nervous. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
And before the society members leave on their adventure, they're hosting a free concert Saturday afternoon at Calgary Opera. Well, Calgarians enjoyed a terrific fireworks display last night. This was the finale to the Canada Day celebrations in Calgary. The fireworks were launched from Stampede Park, but visible throughout much of the city. Well, warm weather continues, but we are cooling down. Danielle will have the details in her forecast coming up.
Well, it's certainly been hot these past few days, but Calgary will notice a relief and a bit of a difference by tomorrow. But it'll take a little bit of extra time for the far southeast corner of our province, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. Calgary got to a high of 31 today. Edmonton 29, into the 30s for Regina, close to it in Saskatoon, and at 30 or at least close to it, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Fredericton today. All right, here's that upper air analysis. The ridge of high pressure that's been in place, the heat has been able to build. This is going to slump to the south, but still encompass that southeast corner for tomorrow. This look at tomorrow. So still some heat here. Medicine Hat, for example, will still get into the 30s tomorrow, but to the north of this area, we are are looking at significantly cooler temperatures, or at least a noticeable difference. So at least 6 degrees difference for us in Calgary, for example. Okay, radar and satellite, it's been a very active day out there. Many communities, the worst of it to the east of Edmonton, where there were tornado watches and warnings earlier today. Some of these cells did produce some hail out there as well. For tomorrow, we'll start off with sunshine, and then by about 2 in the afternoon in Calgary and up the QE2, the potential for showers and thunderstorms. Calgary likely non-severe, and they could be a little more intense the further up the QE2 you go tomorrow, and off to the east the QE2 later in the day as well. Friday looks quiet. Friday night and through Saturday, some rain will push in. And by then, that will significantly cool down our temperatures. So tomorrow in Calgary, 24 degrees is our high. Sunshine for the day. By 2 in the afternoon, showers and thunderstorms possible. Just 21 for Friday, a good chunk of sunshine. And by Friday night and through Saturday, we're looking at rain, which will be heavy at times. We'll likely pick up about 5 millimeters of rain. And by Saturday, that means just a high of 19 degrees. We'll bounce back into the 20s, though, by Sunday.
Thanks, Danielle. 5 people from an Alberta town have been chosen for a national team, and those local athletes will make up a big portion of Team Canada at the Commonwealth Life-Saving Championships. The Southern Alberta Summer Games start in Taber tomorrow. About 1,700 athletes are competing this year. Some of the events include track and field, soccer, baseball, and badminton. The games wrap up on Saturday. Team Canada at the Commonwealth Life-Saving Championships has 20 athletes from across the country, and a quarter of them are from the town of Cochrane. Tyler Barrow reports.
It's training time for Cochrane water ninja Jack Dunza. The 18-year-old is getting ready to represent Team Canada at the Royal Life-Saving Society's Commonwealth Life-Saving Championships.
I'm super pumped to be here. It's been a long training session to get to this point, but I'm super excited.
He will be joined by 4 other members from the Water Ninjas. The quintet is looking to make a splash at the competition in Wales from July 8th to 13th, going up against the sport's top athletes from Commonwealth nations.
It's just so much fun to get to bond with all these athletes who love the sport as much as you do.
Really excited, especially with 4 other of our teammates.
The 5 will compete in events like mannequin tow, line throw, and relay races. The sport encourages participation in life-saving activities while further developing life-saving practices. The athletes competed in the 2025 Alberta and Northwest Territories Pool Life-Saving Championships in Calgary. That was one of the competitions Team Canada used in their selection process. A total of 20 athletes cracked Canada's roster. With a quarter coming from the Cochrane Water Ninjas, it shows that even if it's wet, iron still sharpens iron.
It's absolutely incredible. I think it shows to the skill and the work effort that we as water ninjas put in.
We just being able to race against each other and train every single day really pushes us to be the best version of ourselves.
The group leaves for the Commonwealth Championships July 6th. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Cochrane.
And it's not just those 5 athletes. 2 more athletes from Cochrane's Water Ninjas were chosen as reserves for Team Canada. Thanks for staying up late with us.